Well, good morning, everybody. It's January 8th, 2026, our regular board meeting agenda at the Magna Water District, 8885 West, 3500 South, General Office Building. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Will you please stand with me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to welcome public and guests. Now we're going to nominate a new chair.
I'd like to make a nomination for Mick Sudbury for the chair for 2026.
I'll second that.
It's been motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Okay, anybody here have any public comments they'd like to address the board? Nobody wants to talk to us? Todd? Okay, moving on. So again, does anybody on the agenda, anybody here have a conflict with our agenda that we have? Okay, see none? Okay, let's move on to our employees.
Yeah, the water construction crew had a pretty good month in December. Gavin and Dawson both completed their water distribution 4, which is the top certification in that part of the certifications. And they were both able to jump from lower certifications to 4 by doing lots of studying. So,
That is awesome.
We're
Congratulations.
Yeah, great job.
and then down to Hooning, he finished up his CDL training last month, and that's when the construction crew employees really become valuable, is when they're able to start operating the equipment and helping with that. So we're proud of these guys, and we're happy that they're here with us. So
Thank you, guys. Again, appreciate you guys, all your hard work and go the extra mile. And I know sometimes it ain't easy, especially them calls early in the morning hours.
thanks, guys.
Okay, see you guys. See you, Dawson.
Okay, let's moving on to the common consent items.
Minutes of the regular board meeting held December 11th, 2025. Expenses from December 1st to December 28th, 2025. General expenses, $1,291,210.38. Size bank bond payment, $83,530.83.
All in favor?
I'd like to second it.
Okay, it's been motion, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, Clint, we'll move on to our general manager report.
All right, thanks, Mr. Chairman. We have in your board package, you've got a copy of the GM report I put together. It was a little earlier than usual because of the holiday, but I think most of the items are still relevant. We've got staffing. The only issue that we're gonna talk about later on the agenda is with whether or not discussion about a new service maintenance facilities position, so we'll hold off on that until that point in the agenda. As far as operations, just wanted to highlight on the water side that Trevor and Steve have been working on drafting an asset management plan that's required for the drinking water loan. I think that's a positive thing. It's one of the requirements for the loan, but I think it's a good exercise for us. We'll present that once we get that completed to the board to look at.
Is that a couple months?
We're probably
So
getting pretty close.
towards I'm on track towards the end of January to have a final draft of it. And it's specific to our drinking water system. But if we, like how it turns out and find it beneficial, we could expand it to system-wide.
Yeah, I thought that was looking good. Wanted to let the board know on that. Also, that new drinking water fee to help fund the Division of Drinking Water Operations. They've received public comment, and based on that comment, they've agreed to cut that by 50% of what they were proposing initially. And then they will also delay it, so they're not gonna implement it as soon as they wanted to. So we'll have a little bit more time to plan for it.
Do you know what is going to be in 2020?
It was about $4 per year. It's all
Yeah.
based on water usage.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I think it worked out to be at $4
Average of about $4.30 per household
per year.
per year.
Yeah,
And who decided to cut it down? It was the Division
Division
of
of
Drinking Water.
yeah, I think in discussion with the legislature,
They're one imposing that.
yeah. So, I think that's a positive development.
Yeah. I think so.
Wanted to get feedback, gauge interest on the board on whether we want to continue this year, do another round of leasing with our Salt Lake Canal shares. Last year, we participated in the program and they paid us $160 per share that we leased to them, and we leased 50% of ours in the canal. I
If it
think.
keeps us from using it, I'm all for it.
And I think we could go up as high as 75%
Okay.
comfortably if the board's
Sure.
interested. We'll continue negotiation and bring it back for approval. Any comments or thoughts on that?
I agree with that. That sounds
I'd be
good.
good with that.
Okay, I think it was like almost $40,000
Yeah.
we got off that
Wow.
last year. And then that water goes to.
So I
the
got a
lake.
question with you. When we lease that water out and they give us a check, where does that money go?
In our operating account,
In our what?
our operating account.
Okay,
For the secondary water operations.
okay.
Okay, we'll work with them on getting a draft agreement like we did last year with Nathan's review, and
I imagine it'll be the same
Probably
agreement,
be
just
the same
updating the
agreement.
amount,
Yeah,
of water,
and the date.
and money.
so. We'll
As
bring
long as
that.
it's a yearly thing, that's good.
I think so. We were able to get by with virtually no canal usage except for maybe a little bit. Very minimal. So on the wastewater side, just wanted to give the board a heads up. Dallas has been struggling with a crane issue in the solids handling building. We thought initially it might be a fairly simple fix, but as we dove into it more, it's probably a little bit more than we thought, and wanted Dallas to just give the board a heads up.
Sure. So there's a 16 horsepower, 5-ton crane, bridge crane, that we use to lift up the solids handling screw presses. We went to do some maintenance on that press, and that crane had failed. The cable had worn. So we had the people that come out, that certify it, come out and look at it, and they said it's time to replace it. This happened after we did the budget, so we didn't budget for a new crane replacement. We've got the quote from the company that does the certifications district-wide. It's about $65,000 plus installation. So we're investigating, are there components that we could potentially replace? Are there outfits out there that could give us a better deal than what they've quoted? So still in the investigation phase, but because that wasn't budgeted for, we thought we should bring that to the table and at least put it on your plate.
So the cable can't be that much? Is
No,
it
the
just
cable's-
cabling, just the control cabling?
No, the cable, once you get the cable under load and you try to slide it one way or the other, the cable hops off the bowl.
So that's in the festoon, it travels back and forth with the crane?
Yeah, in the train, right,
They call it crane, they call it festoon.
okay.
That's what, and it's $65,000?
If you replace the whole thing, the cable is about, we replaced the cable so we could finish the job, and it was like $5,600.
Okay.
But we finished the job, and the cable itself was damaged again, so the internal components are bad. And they said if we replace them with aftermarket, then they won't be able to certify it. So they've pointed us in the direction of a replacement. So that's exactly what the mechanic team thought, and that's what I thought when it hit my desk, so
As long as
we're
it
still
works, I've never heard
investigating.
They won't, you may want to get somebody else to certify it.
Yeah, it's just, we use them district-wide. We've never had issues, so this is the first time we've had to do a replacement. So it's kind of new to us, but if we do end up needing to replace a big ticket item like that, we wanted you to be aware of it. So when we finish the investigation and bring it back, we can give you the best decision.
Yeah, but I have the same problem, so on the festoon, sometimes the cable it travels on gets a little frayed and it
Right.
catches the wheels.
Yep.
But I can't see it spending that much to change out a cable and a bunch of rollers.
Right.
Travels for a three-phase cable. I've had the same problem, it's nothing frustrating, it gets the cable pinched and then it ruins it.
That's exactly right.
But if you replace all the hangers and the cable, I can't see it costing that much money.
Yeah, I'm hoping that's the case. I'm hoping that we can do that, but it's early on. This just happened in November after we did the budget, of course, so we'll bring that back when we have more information.
Wanted to get that on your radar, just as we're looking into options. Snyderville Basin came out for a tour of the our reuse facility. I thought that was neat, that we're still collaborating, still exchanging knowledge and information with other wastewater plants, which I think is important to continue to do that. I think that's a positive. And then one neat thing I wanted to highlight, I don't know if the board was aware yet, that the collections crew, we got a call, actually it came in over the website about a ring. Somebody lost their ring in their child threw an engagement ring into the toilet and flushed it. And, they asked, is there anything we could do? And I asked Dallas, hey, can you look into this? Maybe you can do something with a small chance. And they were able to, I'll let Dallas tell you what they were able to do.
So when we get a call like that, we send the camera equipment out. It's a needle in a haystack, but we always give it our best effort. So we inspect the line visually with the camera equipment. We didn't see the ring initially. So then we send the rotor truck out and we flush the line and we vacuum everything. But then once you get everything in the truck, you still have to take it down to the plant and sift through all the debris. But lucky for us, the ring was in the debris.
Oh, that is awesome.
You better start a lost and found.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the customer, she didn't have a ton of English, but I called her and I said, are you home? I've got some good news for you. And she was on the driveway when I pulled up and I gave it to her and she just started crying and we said, Merry Christmas. And I gave her my card and if you need anything, we're always here for you.
That's great.
I thought that was pretty
That
neat.
is pretty cool. That'd be a story that'd be fun, that'd be a story neat to tell.
Sure.
Put it on our, but then again, we could go backwards on that too, then every time something happens, can you find my bobby pin?
Raise the expectation.
Yeah, that's the downside. We thought about that too. So there was some concern
That's
there.
really
but
nice.
Pretty neat.
Oh, that's really neat. About made me want to cry.
Yeah.
In the office, Leal was able to complete a Spanish version of the service applications with some review from Desiree.
Right.
Excited to have that option. We get quite a bit of requests for that. And so to be able to provide that now, I think is a neat step.
It's funny, we haven't received any filled ones out yet,
Yeah.
I've noticed.
Which is-
But it's there if they need
Yeah,
it.
it's there, we've had a lot of requests for that.
Yeah.
We are gonna talk about the Yapify for the customer portal on one of the other items. And then we did, with that data privacy program policy that we're working on, and the board had to establish last month, we did complete an annual video training that we had to do on it, in December, so,
With all the employees.
with all the employees, so I wanted to let you know about that. For communication and morale, was able to attend a West Valley Council meeting regard to that rezone that was up for consideration next to our EDR plant. A guy operates a trucking business, has 3 or 4 trailers, but they denied that application for rezone, so I think that's a positive over there.
Where was that located at?
It's
There by right down the EDR, as you go down the road, EDR plant where the gate, it's right here to the west.
Oh, it's next, oh, no. That's right, Granite Resources across the street.
Yeah, yeah, Mick's relationship with the mayor helps. If anything falls through the cracks on our end, they have a good relationship. She let us know, hey, this is something that might concern you guys. So appreciate that. We've got an item for consideration, whether or not the board wants to participate in Chamber West. We'll talk about that. And then we met with Kennecott to discuss secondary water options for the golf course. And we contributed, or as far as communications, we did a customer flyer on the water pressure check. We got that submitted and sent out, that we discussed. I think it was in the December meeting. And then Trevor's got a draft of a master plan, just letting people know we're working on the master plan, the impact fees, and rates in the future. And so we've got a draft copy there that we've got for the board to take a look at. And then we did have one customer reported sewer backup. Initially thought it might be on our side, but it ended up being on theirs after further investigation. So that's all my report.
So I want to go back to the Chamber West.
Yeah.
So what is the dues for Chamber West?
Yeah, so we've got an item on here that the minimum, it's administrative item L3. If you want to go to that, should we?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's jump. If you don't mind, because I want to talk about that for a minute.
So do they need to make any, we're just gonna go to that item, right?
Or do we want to just wait? We can come back to it. I mean, we can come down the list.
Okay, whatever works
Let's just
better.
come down, but I need to go back. So I screwed up. So just to let everybody know, on our diocese table today, we've got Trevor Andre, Dallas Henline, Steve Clark, Andrew Sumption, Jeff White, myself, Mick Sudbury, Danny Stewart, Lee Alice Fitzgerald, Nathan Bracken, and Clinton Dealey, just for the record. So I jumped the gun. Caught it, Nathan.
Good job, I didn't.
Okay, let's move on to the engineering.
All right, engineering report. Some progress on our projects, the Influent project continuing. Grip Building's coming along quite nicely. They're actually getting pretty close to where we'll have electrical, where that can be kind of started up. There's a few mechanical things there that still need to happen. The pump station, getting really close. Did some concrete pours recently, getting close to the point where they can start fitting the screws in there. And then there's just, continual site piping, conduit runs, manholes, things of that nature around that they're working on. That is probably one of the bigger things that happened in the past month. We do have our change house continuing on. We've got a 60% design meeting scheduled for next week. So that'll be a good meeting. The reservoir, Zone 3 secondary water reservoir, they've got that basically dug down about a foot below or above finished grade. They're putting in a French drain, and they've been working on the embankment. With the rain and stuff, that's kind of slowed their embankment progress, drying out material, but moving along well. Lead and copper, we had a meeting with the state yesterday, and everything seems to be falling in line well there. We're looking maybe beginning February as a loan closing. And that kind of wraps that up. Any questions on anything that you have?
Nope. You guys okay on that?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Steve, we're gonna move on to the water side.
All right, thank you. So the water production for the month of December 2025, the culinary water production was 98.46 million gallons, or 302.19 acre feet. And that's a 8.03% increase from December of 2024. For a year total production, we produced 1,894.03 million gallons, or 5,812.9 acre feet, and that's an 8.1% increase from 2024. Total for the year from Jordan Valley, we purchased 806.57 acre feet of water from them. As far as call-outs go, we had a total of 12, 8 of them were water, 4 of them were wastewater, for a total of 36 call-out hours. 24 of those were water and 12 were wastewater.
I have a question. What caused that outage up here on, what was that, stage 3,
Zone 3?
zone 3? It was early in the morning on New Year's Day, I think it was. It was off for a couple hours, so.
I'm not exactly sure what caused the actual outage, but we did have some power issues with our Zone 3 because of whatever they had going on, which caused us to have some SCADA issues that we weren't able to read. So Matt ended up having to go out and manually check the tanks to figure out what was going on there. But that's kind of how we had to watch it for a couple days
Oh,
till everything.
so it was a power outage that initially caused it?
We're not 100% sure. That happened, and then around the same time, we had a blown fuse in one of our, it's kind of like a surge protector. And then we ended up having to have another one sent out to replace the one that was in there, because the fuse is built right into it.
Oh.
And so that's why Matt had to,
So if it goes down, doesn't our backup generator kick on if it goes down?
so the part that went out on us was just the part that monitors the tank levels, and we don't have a generator that monitors that. We got a generator for the pumps to pump up there if we need it, but just to monitor the tank levels
Oh.
is all off solar.
Do we monitor the pressure on the system?
Yeah.
And we didn't get an alarm that the pressure was gone?
We did, but it didn't jive with what was going on with the tank. So when that went out, it kind of just froze the screen on the SCADA. And so we were kind of still seeing the tank levels. That's why we didn't know for sure what was going on until Matt went up and started checking it manually. Because the SCADA still showed everything was running like it was supposed to, but some of the pressures were dropping, and then we were getting people calling saying that
Well,
they
they
were having
called me
pressure
8
issues.
o'clock, and I said, well, have you called the water? Oh, yeah. And then it was about 30 minutes, and it was back on. But I think it had been off since 7 in the morning or something. So,
Yeah, it had to be around then when we started getting calls,
wow.
so.
Well, they were just happy it was on. They didn't, well, what caused it? I said, they didn't ask. I mean, I don't volunteer anything, so.
Yeah, for sure.
As long as it was back on, everything was okay. But you've gotta think about, you get up in the morning and there's no water, that's a pretty bad situation.
Oh, yeah, people get,
So I just wondered if we need to beef that up or have a backup to that power maybe would be a good idea, that if a fuse blows like that, you've got an alternate there.
yeah, and that's
The
kind of.
SCADA is really important for you guys to
Yeah,
let you
and
know.
we are looking into that to see what our options are. The bad thing is every other tank that we have has redundancy to it. That's the only one that doesn't, as far as the SCADA goes. And lo and behold, that's the one that it happened to.
But the amount of people that it services is way critical.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people, so I'm not so sure it would be worth
What area does that service?
the whole high school and
Oh,
all the
wow.
apartments, that's a lot of people. Do you know what it would cost to make it redundant?
I would have to look into that. I'm not sure, but that's kind of what we're looking into. So
Okay.
when we get something figured out, we'll let you know.
Thank you.
So the question I have, so wastewater Dallas, we have 4. Can you explain to me what the four call outs are for wastewater?
Yep, let me just get on that page, Mr. Chairman. I know we had some issues with the chlorine system. The SCADA had notified us of a chlorine leak. So, Bo had come out to do a little troubleshooting on that. We found that there was a hairline crack in one of the discharge pipes, so we replaced that. And then Chet Draper, Triton 2 mixer fault. There was a brownout on that date of power. where we didn't lose power, but there was a jolt to the system, so that equipment shut itself off. Chet had to respond and restart that mixer. Nothing else was affected. And then Dylan Delabelle, mixer overheat, called Total Power out to install a new fan. Inside that facility where that equipment's housed, there's little filters that protect that equipment from overheating. Those are on a 2-week cleaning interval. And when that one overheated, we decided we'll bump that up to every week that those will get cleaned. So that was just a matter of getting a new fan installed on that.
Okay. Hey, really quick, while I'm looking over here, I'm looking at the fixed gate at main office. Do we maintain our gates? I mean, do we do it ourselves? Do we have a company come out because them gates are moving back and forth every day, every morning, every night, and I'm just trying to figure out.
We try to do the majority ourselves, but there are some issues we can't resolve with.
Okay,
Exactly.
because what do we pay, 3 hours for a call out?
I don't think.
Yeah, I think it's 3 hours.
Or for, like a call out for us? Yeah, 3 hours.
Yeah.
minimum.
Yeah.
Okay. It says fixed gate, but it doesn't say what was wrong with it.
It seems like that one, the cleaners had it closed and
It didn't close all the way.
Close all the way, close to
Yeah.
like 80% is what.
Yeah.
Has some gaps left in it.
And that happens,
Winters.
I can't say often, but
winters,
sometimes.
These gates fell.
When
like
it's
times a
rainy,
year.
windy, yeah.
Okay, we just need to make sure that when our cleaners leave here, they don't leave till the gate's completely closed.
We actually talked to the new cleaners about that. so.
Okay, great.
Well, I thought we just upgraded the SCADA system, that's why I'm a little sensitive about this stuff, that we don't know what's going on. I thought we upgraded everything, so doesn't sound like we did.
So we did, but the problem that we have up there at Zone 3 is there's no power, everything's just solar. And so, yeah, solar and we're running off of.
Sounds like we need to put some backup batteries in there and have
There
some.
are backup batteries, but because of the way it went out and froze the screen, the batteries just kept that screen running, so it looked like everything was good to go, but in reality it wasn't. So that's what we're looking into with, we're trying to figure out a way we can get alarms that if something does happen, it's gonna send us something, not just a comms fail, but we need something showing that everything's not right, or just I don't know, there's a lot of options that we gotta look at.
Well, the pressure indication on the main pipe going out of the pump house would be a good backup right there.
Yeah, but that's where it kinda got tricky, like I said, cause comparing that to the screen, and so that's when Matt went out and, started manually checking everything, and that's when we found the issue. But, yeah, I see your point,
We need to have better redundancy for sure,
yeah,
yeah. That affects a lot of people and doesn't look good.
yeah, definitely.
Thank you, Steve.
Okay, yep.
Okay, Dallas.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Just a couple of things on the wastewater operations report. The plant continues to perform well despite the inconsistency in weather. If we get a smooth transition from warm weather to cold weather, that's easy to combat. When we get a transition to warm weather to cold weather to back to warm weather and cold weather, the biology gets a mind of its own. But we're doing well. It's just increased sampling and more visible observations through the microscope equipment. I'm happy to report back that the total FOSS numbers are in for the annual average. We ended at 0.86, and we were required to be below 1 milligram per liter on that. This was a new compliance point for our new permit. So that was really exciting for us. We think that next year could be even better as we learn to optimize chemical addition and some of the other operating parameters there. And then on the wastewater collection side, we've had the ongoing project with Twin D for all of the point repairs for sections within the collection system that have been damaged, and we completed that. So now we'll just get on to looking into next year. Based on the priority of the repairs needed, we'll just move on to the next round of repairs through the system. So as the weather cooperates, the boys on the collections crew are out flushing the lines. when the water, or when the weather drops below freezing, they've started their annual visual inspections of each manhole. So if you see them walking through the town, what they're doing is they've got to pop each manhole and do a visual inspection. We look at the current conditions of the cones, we look at the outfall inlets, pipe conditions, and then we look for any type of evidence of a potential backup. But right now, they're still in Old Town Magna. We start on the west side of town and we work our way east, and we've got to get eyes on each manhole every year, so.
Do we do anything to camera that for a backup, a file that we can put in there?
So they have a log, as they do their visual inspections, they record what they see, and then if they see something that requires attention, then they escalate it to the supervisor and we address it then. If they see something that requires equipment for a more extensive visual inspection, then we jump on that right away. And that's all electronically logged per piece of equipment.
Or location?
Yeah, it's each inspection has a service address tied to the inspection, so an address of the manhole. That's really all I had, Mr. Chairman, unless you have any questions.
Do you guys have any questions? Okay, we're all good.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Dallas.
Okay, Leal?
Thank you, Board and Chair. So we continue to be in compliance. The few highlighted items we'll go through real quick. The annual schedule of the regular board meetings has been posted. We placed it on the public notice website and our website. The certification filing with annual budget, that has been done after it was approved last month. The Utah Public Finance website, this is the salary and benefit portion. That's due by the end of this month, and I don't see a problem getting that completed by then. The quarterly budget to actual for December of 2025 presented to the board, that'll be done next month. But the transparency website requires it to be on the website by the end of this month, and again, I don't see a problem of that being done. You guys were filling out your conflict of interest forms just this morning, so we'll get that on the website as soon as they're done. It's due by the end of this month, so don't see a problem there. The semi-annual report to the state money management, that's been done since this report, so that's already been submitted. Year-end W-2s, they are complete. They just need to be given to the employees now, so everything's been submitted for the W-2s. Payroll reports are completed. Annual sales tax return, I will get that done by the end of the month. And then you appointed a new board chair this morning. Actually, not new, but you were implemented again for another year. And that's all I have, unless you have any other questions or comments.
I don't have any, do you, Jeff? Andrew? Okay, thank you, Leal.
Thank you.
So, Andrew, we're gonna move on to you.
Yeah, thank you, Board and Chair. We're continuing looking at the fall protection on the roofs. Right now, Trevor's assigned Ty, the new staff engineer, to evaluate all the buildings and see which ones we need to start on based off of when the next services are gonna be required in those buildings. And so Ty's gonna be working with Matt and Steve on those. We're looking into what our options are gonna be for the EDR, for some fluorescent tape to alert people to stay away from those edges. That falls in guidelines with how OSHA operates. The issue we're having, we've got to figure out which one will work with the membrane without ruining the membrane. And so,
Is it easier just to put restraints around on the edge of the building and just put a cable all the way around it?
so it's got a parapet, but when you get into the middle of the building, it peaks right there. And so most of the building's protected by a parapet, but there is two sides that aren't completely protected. And so if you put tape or paint 10 feet away from that edge, and then when somebody goes up there, they have a partner go up there and make sure that they don't go outside of that
Outside the
taped area, then that falls into the OSHA guidelines.
Yeah, you don't want to penetrate that membrane for sure.
No.
Got
So
a long life on
we're looking into what our best options are there. Got the managers are working on goals with their employees for this coming year. And we'll probably start having meetings on those in the next week or two. The OSHA 300 log is coming up due, and along with that, the state's randomly chose us to participate in their survey of occupational injuries and illness, and so I'll be submitting that this month as well. And that's it for me.
Will you do me a favor? Will you get me a copy of them goals? Because I want to see, we might want to add to that.
Yeah, we'll have a good copy for you. I'm hoping
Okay.
we can get you a rough draft, I don't know, for March.
That'll work. That will work. Okay, let's move over to the water sewer. Jay?
All right, I'll take this. Thanks, Chair and Board. First one there, we have the Salt Lake County salt shed.
Is that the one right up here on 8,000?
It is, it's located 8,000 near 4100 South, address 3986. So they have, operated out of there for salt for quite some time. And what they're looking at now is just to get a water service so that they can, wash down vehicles. Any of their wash down water or waste, they're still collecting and pumping, off-site. So it's not going to our sewer system, and they're not asking for that connection at this point. It's just water for
The
operation.
question I have for you, so up there, so I was up there the other day looking, and it has a big drain that when the salt gets rained on or whatever, all goes down, you see where, is that go down?
It doesn't.
It goes to
It
the.
captures all on site.
Oh, does it?
And
Okay,
then,
okay.
and they'll remain that way. Dallas and I have had discussions with them because they were looking at, expanding sites and connecting to sewer and all of these things. And they were looking, countywide options, and this was one of them. But at this point, they're not looking to change this other than add water service. So, no sewer. And that's specified in the letter.
I'm seeing you give do you have a comment? Okay, I just,
Yep, so this would be just proving water only for that Salt Lake County salt shed.
How big of a service is that? Just a 3/4 service?
They're looking at 1.5 inches. They say that they don't need that full capacity at the moment, but for future possibilities, they want to do 1.5 inches right now.
Did we have a problem with the customer across the street from there?
Fastenal?
Pallet? No, the pallet.
Oh,
Down the street and over the pallet company was.
oh, you're talking about that right above the
Maybe
railroad
that's
tracks?
72, yeah.
Yeah, it's 8,000.
We changed the hydrant right there, but
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what you're referring to.
I thought they were having trouble with water service or something over there because of their meter and.
We know we changed that hydrant right there.
yeah. It could have been pre-Zone 3 changeover too, I don't know.
I just wondered if that basin they've got, if it overflows, I mean, because that would be detrimental to us. But what's the likely
Stormwater.
up there? Will it run down the street before it ever
It'll
gets
go to
into our sewer?
stormwater before it gets to our sewer.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is, anyways, so, with that being said, we've gone through our analysis and recommend providing water service to this.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion then to approve the Salt Lake County salt sheds to have water for washdown.
I'll second that.
Been motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, let's move on to project awards and agreements.
Okay, thank you, Chair and Board. First one there is for IGES. So we're currently in design of our finish and feed tank redundancy project at the EDR. As part of that, we had an initial geotechnical investigation for the EDR plant and those tanks that are there, the existing one. But it was limited to that scope. So with these new tanks, we're looking to do further investigation out there specific to the tank locations that we're looking at. So we've asked IGES to put together this scope and task order. It's a little higher than some of the other ones that we see on other projects. It's indicative of the soil type that's out there. It's, there's good concern for settlement and things of that nature. So what they're looking at is a couple of deeper bores to get a full analysis of that soil and what the settlement potential is, and make sure we can mitigate against that in our design, so.
Yeah, I don't know if you're aware, that site was preloaded with the material that was excavated from the 5 million gallon, I believe, up at 7600 West. So it had, a big pile, 15-foot high, can't remember exactly how high, but it was a big effort, and we monitored the settlement that occurred with plates and survey, quite extensive. And so there's a lot of challenges with that site to build a tank on it.
Because it used to be a swamp.
Yeah, so that's part of the reason for the additional analysis. I think it's worth the investment to make sure we get it right.
So
Yeah.
can't we put membrane down and rock pad to displace that?
I think
Instead of just the tank, we can't go outside of that, or?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's some options, but that's where this will tell us, it'll give us an idea of that settlement and then what we can do to mitigate that. And so that's, I think, like Clint mentioned, this is,
So was that area not
Worthwhile.
preloaded then where we're putting?
some of this falls in it, I think, but not all of
a
it.
portion of it, but we can't fit both tanks within that preload area.
So we test where it was preloaded and we test outside of that, then that will give you an idea.
That's kind of where it falls, yeah. So, and I'll just note that, IGES has done great work with us. They typically err on the side of caution, so their task orders can be a little higher than what they actually end up using, and that's the approach we've taken here as well. So I don't see us reaching that budget amount.
Yeah, they're pretty good guys. I used them too. So, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve the EDR finish and feed tank geotechnical investigation task order for the amount of $31,200.
I'll second that.
In motion, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, Clint?
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. The next item we'd like to talk about is the Yapify customer public portal for AMI metering information. We've looked at 3 options for this. There's 3 different companies that we've reached out with and had demonstrations on. And so we've got the Yapify one here. The other company was MeterWorks itself, right? That has
It's called
a
My 360.
My 360 portal that's in here, and remind me of the name.
Emeritus.
Aquatrax.
Aquatrax. Of the 3, the Yapify we think will integrate the best with our system. We've already got the Yapify notification system, and so we're familiar with how their platform works. We felt like it gave us also a little bit more customization that we could do than the MeterWorks option, which is pretty basic. The MeterWorks option is the most basic of the 3 in terms of customer information.
So does that make it the cheapest?
That is the cheapest, the MeterWorks. This one's a little bit more, but it gives us some additional scope that the MeterWorks doesn't. This one we can respond through the customer notification system with leak recommendations. So we can set alerts that will go out automatically if it notices some activity, different activity levels. We can set criteria that it'll automatically notify our customers.
So what will be the cost on this next year on the year? Is it this much, or is it just for them to set up and then the yearly subscription is less?
Yeah, typically. That's how it's been.
It would
They-
be less.
We have an initial, go ahead, Leo.
Sorry, Yupify has indicated that it would be the 17 annually. They are not charging us a setup fee is what they indicated.
Yeah, it was the new partnership opportunity that they gave us a discount on.
And they indicated that they would continue that, so that's nice.
Every year it'll be the same cost? Okay,
That's what they're telling us,
so you
yes.
kind of cost, it's kind of a subscription cost then, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, they have continuous,
I know we've been pretty happy with Yopify so
it's
far.
been really good, tool for us. Trevor, do you have kind of an example? Were you able to?
Yeah, we'll see if it. So one of our employees lives in an area that uses Yopify. And so this is just an initial screen when they log in, what they see. And I think we could have a logo here and our name.
Yeah,
This one's pretty basic of the ones we've seen, so we can customize that how we want. But you'll have that information usage, that you can set alerts and set,
Wow, that's pretty
criteria.
quick.
they can drill down to daily, monthly usage.
I think we talked about it. That's gonna alert the customer
Yeah.
way quicker.
I think the customer side is really great too, but our side of the platform also allows us to have a lot of alerts as well, to where we can create workflows and react also to issues that it's seeing.
I see that next year price though, they give you a $5,800 discount. What will we get next year? Will it be that full price?
They're indicating they'll give us that discount every year.
Okay, there you go.
Because they haven't worked with Neptune, right?
Right.
That sounds pretty good.
So I wanted to present that and ask if the board had any questions or concerns, or wanted to see anything more, before we moved forward.
You guys have talked highly of it, so I'm
Okay.
pretty user-friendly. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to approve the Yopify Customer Public Portal for MI metering information for an annual cost of $17,514.
I'll second that.
Good motion, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay, let's move on to administration.
All right, this is our impact fee, Keith. So we've got our presentation from Bowen and Collins on our impact fee, facility plan and impact fee enactment. It's both for water and sewer.
Jump right in here.
Yep, go ahead. I'll turn the time over.
We were here last month and we talked about the capital facilities plan, so we won't talk much about that other than just a real quick review for anybody who's new here. So we're going to talk about why we're updating your impact fees, talk about the 2 required documents that the state asks us to do, an impact fee facility plan, IFFP, and an impact fee analysis, IFA, and then what the results are. Go to the next one. So the 2 documents that we have to produce, the facilities plan basically looks at what growth is occurring and what projects are needed to serve that growth, and identify the percentage that comes from growth in each of those projects. The impact fee analysis is a separate document that then takes all that information and calculates what the appropriate fee per connection would be. So those are the 2 documents that we're preparing and we'll be asking you to approve in a future meeting. If you recall, this comes from the capital facilities plan. These are the areas that have been identified as potential growth and the densities of specific interest to us, and it's a little hard to see here, but are the properties outlined in blue, which were the areas that were identified as expected areas of growth over the next 10 years. 10 years is important because that's the allowable window for planning in terms of calculating our impact fees. I just threw this slide in here just to remind everybody that growth, even though it feels like, you know, we're pretty built out, growth still is a significant issue and concern for the district moving forward, especially as development potentially moves up the mountainside. So, you know, you could see almost a doubling of your total service area over the next, well, it's to 2090, so that's a ways out there, but there is that potential for growth moving forward. Okay, so just in terms of what we've done, the last time we looked at impact fees was 2020. As you know, we just finished draft master plans, which looked at all the updated needs. You have had several projects. You've done a great job getting some projects done, and so now we know exactly what those costs were. In 2020, we were estimating. Now we know exactly what those costs are. We've also updated our future costs to reflect updated construction estimates, which all of us know have been increasing quite a bit. And then we've also updated your water use and sewer production patterns. So let's go see what that does to the impact fees. So on the water side, here's what we found. Your growth was a little bit slower than we projected in 2020. Not a lot, but a little bit. You've also had a modest decrease, about 10%, in the amount of water that you use since we last looked at this. Both of those first two items are going to tend to push the impact fees down a little bit. However, the other things are going to offset those a little bit. So you've completed a lot of important projects, and we found that your plan that you had 6 years ago is really still in great shape and intact. We're still going to follow most of those same improvements. The one other big difference, though, is that we have seen that significant increase in project construction costs. So decreased water use, but increased costs, they're kind of offsetting each other. And that's what we're going to see in the fee here. So in the past, that top table shows you what the fee had been historically. And you'll note that in 2020, it was about $7,100. It increased up to about $7,700 in 2025. And the recalculated value in the new analysis for 2026 is $7,900. That's an increase of just about 2%. You might have thought, well, hey, with all the construction inflation, that number should have gone up more. But you do really need to remember you have those other things where people have been saving water. We've had a little smaller lot sizes. So the fee's going up, but just a little bit. And then it will continue to increase over the next several years. That's mostly associated with you paying off some of your historic debt that allows you to charge more for impact fees. Any questions on water?
So the one biggest area you showed on there is Little Valley, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
I worry about what is the infrastructure gonna take to feed that, because that's a big area.
Yeah.
A lot of homes, and then you can bring it up in the sewer, because what's that gonna do to the influx on the sewer system?
Yeah, and that's a great question, but one that we're gonna punt a little bit because we don't identify any growth in the 10-year window up in Little Valley. We do have for the foothills, and so this cost is associated with what it's gonna require to service in the next 10 years.
For what you can see right now.
Yeah, I think when we come back in 5 years or whenever to relook at this, if Little Valley's getting a little closer, that may come into the planning window and we'll reevaluate then. Good question. Okay, and sewer is much the same. If we go to the next one, you'll see that these notes are almost exactly the same as water because the picture is very similar, so I won't spend any time on that. Let's just jump to the fee. You'll notice we were in 2020, 3,700, jumped up to almost 4,200, and with the recalculation, we're seeing an increase to 4,500 on the sewer side. That's an increase of just under 8%. I think it's 7.4, 7.6%.
Now, does this
something like that.
apply whether you're building a house or you're doing a business? What
Yeah.
what determines?
Very, very good question. So these numbers here are based on what we call an ERU, which is an equivalent residential unit. So that is your standard home construction. In addition to this table, your ordinance will include a reference to the district policy that calculates for a given business, how much wastewater does it produce? How does that compare to a typical resident? And then the impact fee comes out of that.
So we're talking racially, everybody knows right now it's about $10,000. And so it's only gonna go up about 8% over that time frame.
Yeah,
It's pretty minute.
yeah, this is, I mean, if I'm a developer, I'm not too worried about this. 'Cause it's
Probably,
pretty-
yeah, probably less than 8%, because that's just on the sewer, and the
Yeah,
water
that's
was
not too
2%.
Yeah,
So probably more like 5,
right.
right around
Right.
5.
I just worry about the point we become saturated. If it's 10 years from now, it's gonna be a big cost.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this does represent the maximum allowable that you can charge under state law. You are allowed to charge less, but in my mind, that's not a great option because that just pushes costs onto your existing customers.
Oh,
So
it's
our recommendation would be these fees.
It's great you do the work and lets us have a forecast. And
Yeah.
it's great, appreciate it.
So the last thing just to mention is if these look okay and you don't have any questions, the process would be you would need to set a public hearing. That would need to be notified 14 days in advance. And then once you had the public hearing, you could adopt the fees and they would become effective 90 days after adoption. That's the process.
Great.
That's all I have.
We've got some good backup data and it's great. So did Cohen and Collins produce this or did you guys?
Yeah, it was a joint effort.
Okay, that's excellent. I think anytime you can inform the public, but
So we'll inform them on this, and then we'll probably send out another, obviously, we'll need to notice a public hearing.
yeah. And we're complying with the rules of the state. That's good.
Yeah. I don't know, does the board set in this meeting the public hearing? Do you need to do that, or can you do it separate?
I don't think we have to set the public hearing in this meeting, right?
No, but it would be, if you wanted to, you certainly could. I think maybe what you could do is ask the board for feedback on when they'd like to hold it, and then we could go through the process.
We could do it next month, but we have to do it, we have to notify 14 days.
Yeah, it's mainly the notice, and so I don't think it's necessarily an action item, it's just staff needs direction from the board as to when and where you'd like to hold the hearing, so they can provide the proper notice.
So the point is, we're all prepared right now for that, anytime. Okay.
But I think, I know with a fee increase, with any normal fee, under your normal fee schedule, impact fees are governed by the Impact Fee Act, but with a normal fee, if you're doing a new fee or an impact fee increase, or a fee increase, it needs to be after 6. So I think probably be on the safe side, given that you are proposing an increase, that we do it after 6 o'clock.
Well, are we planning on doing the impact fee hearing and a rate hearing in the same hearing? Separate?
Separate.
Okay. Does the impact fee have to be after 6 too? Or just the rate?
Well, the impact fee is governed by I need to think about that, because the normal fee hearing does not distinguish between impact fees and fees, it just says fees,
Yeah.
period, and an impact fee obviously is a fee.
So
I'll
it
have
might
to go
have to-
take another look, but in my experience, typically, the impact fees are done at the same time as the fee hearing, so they're usually done after 6 o'clock. Has that been your experience too?
That is most commonly I've seen it after 6.
Yeah.
I will say impact fees are very often adopted separate from other user rate fees, but
Yeah.
I've typically done it after 6, but I don't know if it's required.
Yeah,
Be on the
I
safe
think the
side,
safe
we might
side,
do it at
because the impact fee is basically you have a general requirement under Title 17B that when you do a fee increase, and it doesn't say what type of fee, it just says a fee period, you have to do a fee increase or a new fee after 6 o'clock. The reason being that it's more accessible for members of the public to come because they're going to be the ones paying. Now, impact fees are governed by a separate act, but I don't think that there's anything in the Impact Fee Act that says Title 17B doesn't apply in that context.
Yeah,
I could double check that if you want. But off the top of my head, I would recommend that
I'd
you do
say
it
just
after
do it after
six.
six, yeah.
I just worry about the time frame. We need to give enough room down the road to create that for anybody building new homes
Yeah.
in that time period. You
Yeah,
know,
no.
that they're not being approved, that they know up front that that's what it's gonna be.
Yeah,
It's
and
kind of
that-
what the 90 days
Yeah.
is for.
Oh, is
So,
that-
yeah, so unlike a normal fee, if we were just doing say a water rate, you could have that go into effect the following month, effectively immediately even. But with this, statutorily, it can't go into effect until 90 days later. So then that's built into the code to give everyone time and to give the district time to educate people that you're working with. And that's, again, I think part of the reason why you typically do a fee increase or new fee hearing at 6 o'clock.
Okay, that's great. Fantastic.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Keith?
Okay, let's move on. Liao?
So we received information from our financial advisor, Zion's
Oh,
Bank.
we need to make a motion on this, I'm sorry. We need to go back on the draft.
Well, we don't,
No, we don't?
unless you want a motion, a date and time.
Yeah, we
but
don't have one
we're
yet,
not
so
ready.
let's, we're not
Okay, So
ready.
until we make it.
Yeah,
make a
let's
time.
wait.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. So Zions Bank Public Finance is their names as our financial advisors now. They've informed us that they're changing their name to Zions Public Finance, Inc. So we just wanted to be prudent and get that name change on record. And there's also a letter that Zions has asked us to sign acknowledging that name change. So, yeah, we just need a motion to acknowledge that.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve the district's financial advisors to be Zion's Public Finance Incorporated, changing from Zion's Bank Public Finance.
I'll second that.
The motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, Clint, let's go back to Chamber West.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. We've got, the consideration here is whether the board wants to continue membership in Chamber West. If you remember, we were part of the Magna Chamber of Commerce, and they decided to join Chamber West, and so our membership transferred over, and we were able to complete the year as members of Chamber West without any additional cost. But to continue with that, it's a substantial amount relative to what we paid for the chamber. So the minimum cost it would be, there's a few different membership packages, but the lowest one would be the $900 per year. And so the question is does the board feel like that's worthwhile, and what your thoughts are?
So with me being the new mayor, my question is for the city, I'm gonna go sideways for a minute. As a city, if I'm understanding right, they dissolved the Chamber of Commerce in Magna, right? And they had money left over, so what they did say is, we'll pay everybody that's a member, pay their fees, right? And so now it's up for renewal. The question I have is, how many of the members in the city, businesses, is going to join Chamber West? The question I have, and I've been meeting with the Chamber West, they talked to me the other night after the inauguration, and they're really stern about me wanting to join and be a part. I don't know what it can really do for the city. We have our own people that go up on the hill. We got Nathan, they provide that service. I don't know, I would like to find out how many members from Magna City are going to join the Chamber West. And what does the Chamber West have to offer us out here?
Yep.
You know, West Valley, Kern, I don't know about Kearns, but some of them other cities, it might be beneficial, but again, I'm just the mayor with no vote, so whatever the city decides what they want to do, but I don't see where the Chamber West benefits the city, and I don't see where it really benefits us.
Yeah, and the question I have, who are they as far as that Chamber West? Who are they?
They're paid. They get paid and they,
But I mean, who are they? Do they people that reside in West Valley City or
Well,
somewhere in the state?
Barbara Riddles is the president of Chamber West.
Yeah, and I don't do anything with Chamber West. I know Kearns is a member of Chamber West, but I don't, it's not anything that I'm involved with, and I don't provide services that they do.
Yeah, I think their office is right in the Harmon's building.
Okay,
Well, all I worry about is I'm like Nick, I'd like to see what companies, because it's businesses that join that, right, Nick?
okay, and I want Todd to chime in on that for a minute. Todd?
I was just gonna say, as a utility, I don't know how it would benefit you.
See, and I feel that same way.
Or a business partner, I think it might help, but I can't see what they can do for a utility.
And you know, and I'm gonna go one step further, and again, I'm going over to the city side. I'm not so sure how many businesses out here can really pay that kind of fee.
Yeah.
I know the Chamber West people are paid. I think they're paid and they have benefits. So, you know, I'm just curious that I want to tell the council, I'd really like to see how many businesses in the Magna area is going to join the Chamber West to see if it's really feasible.
Yeah, because if they can't, they're gonna ask the question, how can you benefit my business? Then they may not join. So if they're
Yeah.
not supporting Magna, or how can they support Magna? That's the question they need to answer.
Well, they have a lobbyist that's supposed to lobby, but we got a lobbyist right here.
Yeah,
Well, that's what I was gonna say. I think the only real benefits for the district are probably the lobbying. They do have quite a bit of activity from, like Burgess Owens' office sends people to the meetings. And so the congressional representatives on the federal level, they do send people to these meetings. I met one at one of the meetings. If there's money available, if Congress has some money, I think that's another just connection.
But can't we reach out, like,
Like-
I've got all the, you know, since now I'm the mayor, I've got
Exactly.
everybody's numbers and that, like Malloy, Celeste Malloy is our person. But the question I have for you, how many meetings have you been to?
I've went to 2 of these meetings. I
Okay.
don't know that I found it worth anything more than the business to get really the benefits of the legislative and more of the time with those legislators. You have to pay a substantial, it's $3,500 to really get to that level.
really.
And then you still have to buy your lunch.
Yeah, so I don't know that.
You do.
It would be something at this point in time that we would want to consider, but I wanted to make sure that the board.
How long has Chamber West been?
Todd, they've been going, what, 2 years, 3 years? No, back when Benyon Gardner. 5, is it been 20? Okay, because they hit us back when I was on the chamber as one of the executive board members for Magna, and we never switched over because I couldn't see what Chamber West could offer Magna, and then the prices are, you know, are pretty, with stamps.
Yeah, and you're paying people.
Yeah, you don't get that legislative affairs on the basic.
No, you don't, but then we can go out there, we've got Nathan, I mean, you know,
I mean, I'm just looking at the board. So Corey Holdaway, Magna City's lobbyist, is on the board.
right, and they want me to be,
You're listed. You're
I'm
on it.
listed as a board member and I've never been.
So, I mean, from my perspective, and this is more from a city perspective than a public utility, Kearns Improvement District's on there.
Yeah.
Is these chamber of commerce organizations are primarily set up for business, that they're provided to provide a forum for businesses to work. But for a city, is what cities do impact their businesses, and you know, cities are often concerned about making sure that they're doing policies and things that work for the business community. So sometimes they find it that the Chamber of Commerce can be an easy way to work with them, and being on the board helps you be part of the discussion. I agree with the comment said by the gentleman in the back row. public utilities are a little different. I mean, you guys aren't really doing any sorts of policies that have a direct impact on business. Well, I mean, I guess if people are trying to connect to your system and get water and sewer, and we have policies that may be creating an impact there, but it's a much smaller footprint, it seems to me.
And I didn't even know I was a board member.
Yeah,
How would we find out, locally what businesses are joining
well, I
this?
think I'm just looking at their website. Do they have a membership roster?
There's a business directory.
Yeah, there's a member directory.
Yeah, but now that's all gonna change here because now the businesses are gonna have to pay for it now out of their pocket.
Right.
But you know, some of the big businesses, let's just say McDonald's, Smith's, Walmart, then they don't belong.
Because they're a national company.
Am I right?
I don't know.
Okay, but yeah, Wendy's, Carl's Jr., none of them, they were back in the day for the local here, but they did it for like maybe 1-2 years, if that. And then they all fell off. But I don't, you know, myself, again, I'm just speaking for myself, for the city. I don't see what it will offer Magna.
Can't see what's gonna benefit the water company either, so.
I agree.
So my recommendation,
If I thought their local businesses were joining it and stuff, then I could see possibly.
and if you guys want to table this
I would.
and let me do a little bit of information to see what cities are going to join, but then just like Todd had just made a comment, what's it going to do to benefit a utility company?
I agree.
Other than if you want to just be a good neighbor. But to me, that's a lot of money to be a good neighbor.
Yeah,
It's a substantial investment. It's
Right.
much different discussion than the Chamber of
But again, what do you guys want to do? That's where it's at.
I tend to agree with you. I don't know that there's a huge benefit to Magna Water District at this time, at least that I can see.
Okay.
I'd say no too.
So Danny's saying no, so you want to table or should we just go ahead and vote no on being a member this year? And if
would
we
say no.
decide we
You
want
can join
to,
at any
we
time.
can join it at any time.
anytime, yeah, okay.
I say no.
Okay.
Just let me know if at any time you wanna change and we can get it back on the
You
agenda.
don't even need to really make a motion, because
Okay.
you're not a member of it now.
Okay,
So we're not a member now, so Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to, at this time, not join the Chamber West membership for $900 a year.
I second that.
made motion, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay, Lee Isle.
And,
No, Andrews. Gosh, I'm,
no worries.
You're all right. We brought back the service maintenance facilities position with a job description. As Steve and I have dug into it, we found quite a bit of things that we could use this person for. Obviously, the expansion of the gardens, taking care of things like these gates that we were just talking about, window cleaning, doing away with our contract with Orkin and having this person get licensed in pesticides. Taking care of all of our tank yards, the reservoirs, the well houses, and things like that. And then during the winter, doing a lot of upkeep inside those buildings as well. Anything else on that, Steve?
No, that's kind of how I had envisioned would be, during the summer, it'd be a lot of grounds maintenance, and then wintertime, move into like more building maintenance. I mean, granted, there would be some during the summer that had to be done, but summertime would be a lot of grounds maintenance to take some pressure off the construction crews so that they don't get behind anymore.
one of the things I'll probably, because I'm in this business, but one of the things when you said window clean, I don't think they're gonna find time to clean these windows, because time you turn around and go out and buy all the equipment to clean these windows, you're cheaper just to keep the window cleaner coming and have them do it, because like I said, you know, they have all the equipment, they have everything. So I don't know if we wanna be in the window business cleaning. If we were gonna do that, let's just go into the janitorial business and we'll clean our office and all that kind of stuff. I think there's enough work for this guy to go, if we use him right, there's enough work for him to be able to maintain all our facilities. Because trust me, at our level, I don't want to get any calls no more about how our facilities look. And it should never come to us anyhow. So if this guy's gonna be able to take care of our facilities, where it keeps us out of trouble, because especially me now being the mayor, I'm about cleaning up the town. They're saying, you're cleaning up the town, you're the chair of the water board, and look at your guys' facilities. So that's a big problem. But like I said, if we can utilize this guy and all that kind of stuff, I'm all in favor of this job, because me and Clint's had some discussions about, I get a lot of people calling me about seeing all our trucks, all, 4 trucks at one job site. They don't quite understand how it works. And that's one of the things that we really need to do, is educate our public, as I'm doing that right now with the city. Yeah. And, but I'm in favor of this. I'm in favor of this. And then, like I said, if we have a day that's kind of a slow, we can pull one of our guys off to help him but.
And we plan on this person also keeping up with their water distribution certifications, so that they can help with that, on the other side of operations too.
But I don't want to see this individual just riding around all day long.
100% agree.
And I want to make sure that, because I've said to Clint, sometimes I'm concerned, are we overstaffed? I'm just being honest. Are we overstaffed? Are we utilizing our men, our workers where we need to be? I mean, do we need all the trucks we need? I mean, these are the questions I get out in the public, and when you talk about it, it's all tax money.
Absolutely.
And so I get really concerned about that, because we're the ones that take the beating for this. And, and the question is again, are we utilizing our employees the way we should? Can we do things different, more, a better way of doing things?
Yeah, I think that's a fair question, and we continually have that conversation with the operations team. Obviously, it comes down to level of service. What's acceptable for us as the district? What kind of response times are acceptable? How many leaks backed up? How far on leaks do we feel like it's acceptable to be backed up on? How many days is acceptable on repairs of asphalt, of landscaping? Those are the types of discussions that we have to have regularly. And I think our goal is to keep that to an absolute minimum, because I think that the frustration that builds from us not getting the water on in a timely manner, or us not making a repair and leaving a barricade out for weeks at a time, is greater frustration, I think, than seeing when we have 4 trucks go to a site. An under response to me seems to have, I think we're underserving the customers.
Right.
I agree 100% that we can't at the same time have people sitting around waiting for things to do, which so far we haven't.
So what I notice is, I'm going to take the collection crew. I see them out there always working, and I'm not saying that the water side doesn't work, because that isn't my job to police. I'm just on the board, but when I start getting calls from people, and if you educate people, because we used to have a guy that lived on 3100 that would call me all the time and say, see your guys just riding around. Well, we don't have a warehouse. We don't have a warehouse on wheels, right? Yeah. We have to go grab parts, and you could debate that all day long, but all I want to do is make sure we utilize our men, we give the best service to our residents of Magna and West Valley, because we do have West Valley. But like I said, I just want to make sure we're utilizing our men, and and we have great workers. They work hard, but then I get calls, they're stopped down here, they're in the store, and I have no problem if it's on their break or whatever, but I don't expect them to go way out of sight to go somewhere. And I've questioned some things in the morning, we start at 7 o'clock, you have a briefing about your safety and all that stuff, and then next thing I know, I get a call, they're all down to the Maverick gas station. And I don't want us to be a mean board and say, you guys ain't gonna go there, you bring your drinks from home, you do this and that. But when people call and and you pull a GPS out, and it's like they left here to go right to there. And yes, we go down there and get gas, and I don't have a problem with them guys getting gas and going in there, but if that's their first call of business in the morning, I don't think that's good.
We talked to him about that. I will comment, I was here during the week of Christmas. We actually had a pretty slow leak, and that type of activity was down, and they were out working in the yard, making it look really good out in the back, continue to improve the yard. And then we were also helping on some meter work that Steve mentioned. So they do make sure, I think they're doing a really good job of making sure to stay active and doing positive things for their.
Well, and I agree, you know what, like I said, I have no issues. I think the guys, we got great people, great management, great team, and I want to be able to defend everybody, right? That's us as the board, we want to defend, but when we get in these calls here and here and here, and, you know, it's just like anything, you know, it's like me, I get a call this morning about the police, you know, and they're sitting down in their precinct down there. Well, first off, I'm not the chief, you know what I'm saying? I mean, and when you get into this type of field that we're in, you never do anything right.
Yeah.
And if you get a compliment, it's like you need to chalk that up. But like I said, I think Jeff and Danny agree. I just want to make sure we're utilizing our men and we're not overstaffed.
So
I think that's good.
there are two things on here I just want to point out to the board. One is currently as on this draft, this person will be a non-lead person, but they will be reporting directly to the water operations manager.
Okay?
So that he can keep an eye on exactly what's going on and help with the planning on the day-to-day stuff.
If I was to pick on this list, who could do this, that you've got listed here, it'd only be somebody like Steve or some of the foremans that could do all this. There's a lot there.
There is a lot there. They're gonna
Because
be busy.
you've got two categories. You've got the scheduling part, and then you've got documentation that what has been done. So I'm not sure if this can be done by one person.
It's gonna be a group it's with Steve. I mean, Steve's gonna have to
Yeah,
help.
there's gonna be a lot that I'll fill in and help do.
Just to run a backhoe and then to sit down on the computer and know.
There's gonna be
MS
some
software.
intensive training this first year, on some of the scheduling type stuff, as well as spending some time getting, up to date on and certification and on how to take care of our water-wise plans.
You need to hire a guy from the landscape group to work for us personally. I mean, he would meet a lot of this stuff. I'm just saying, there may be some limitations here. We may have to break that up.
That's good feedback. We can look at that a little
Well,
closer.
like you said, that break up some of that, you know, that, like, bring one of the guys that can come off the crew occasionally and.
Yeah, and there will be weeks during the summer and spring when we're hitting it hard, but they're.
Because as you know, there's always work to be done, right? I mean, there's always work to be done, but I mean, this ain't, you know, I'm not, the board's not expecting that we're gonna, you know, for people to come kill themselves, right? I mean, we just expect, you know, a fair day for a fair pay, right? And, but no, I'm totally fine, and one of the questions, and the board's gonna probably maybe not agree with me on this, and I'm okay with that, but one of the things is I have an issue with is when we have an on-call guy, you know, I mean, that on-call guy knows that he's gonna be on call that week. He should find a way that he gets his car home so he don't sit and use our vehicle for transportation. Cause I'm gonna start asking you, I'm gonna start having you run me a report, cause I wanna see where these trucks are going, where they're driving these trucks when they're on call. Because I feel like it's not our responsibility for them to take their own personal vehicle home, or they bring somebody to drop them off because they know Thursday night they're going on call. So they're gonna be on call all the way till that next Thursday. That next Thursday, they find someone to come pick them up to go off call. Because I've taken calls on that too.
Yeah.
They're out to Wall, I mean, they're out to, Danny's taken calls. You know, they're out to Lowe's, you know, and our contract does state that they're welcome to use, but how far out of the way can they go with that vehicle?
We actually just did a training on that in December on what our expectations were with that, as well as amended our on-call report sheet, so that if there is any usage of a vehicle that is of the personal nature, they have to log that and have Steve or Dallas or Trevor sign that.
And again, we need to remind them, it's in our rules and regulations, it's termination if they have people in that vehicle that are unauthorized.
We did go through that policy. The problem is that it becomes, the definition is what is reasonable personal use.
And we can debate that all day long.
Exactly, and so that's why we felt like documentation and discussion with their manager is the best way to make sure that the reasonable use is not left to just the employee. It's a discussion between their manager and them, and then myself or Andrew if we have to. So that's what we feel like is gonna be the best curb, based on discussions with.
But you see a person going out to Lowe's because they're working on their place 3 times.
Yeah, that would be, like we talked, that seems excessive, that seems unreasonable. So that discussion has.
I think the limit that though is they should have their own vehicle at home. And if they're gonna go do something on their personal, they use their vehicle, and then if they get the call, I mean, cause really if you wanted, we could just say, guess what? We have no call in South Salt Lake, so guess what? They'll have to come out here, and you guys are gonna argue with me on this point, because you can say, well, they can go right to the job, they log on their phone, they're punched in, and they're right there, but we just need to make sure that we're using these vehicles right, and I know we can have the argument, well, Kearns lets everybody drive their vehicle, or Hunter Granger, but the bottom line, we're not Hunter Granger, and we're Magna Water.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know how you guys feel, or how you feel about it, I'm just throwing my 2 cents in.
If you find a guy that can do this, I wanna hire him, cause that's a pretty sharp guy. No, seriously.
This
This
guy,
is exceptional, because the key is if he needs help with a certain thing here, because he'll be well-trained. Maybe we have a reoccurring thing with the gate that has to be done. Things like that. He's pretty knowledgeable by the time you get done with the training.
Yeah.
But he's a key person.
Yeah.
But then again, he has to get along with everybody else that's working in and be able to say, hey, I need some help here or whatever.
Well, yeah, this is a new frontier for us to have some.
And as we know, it's all gonna tweak, right,
But I think we can make some adjustments to this based on this discussion and bring it back if we need to.
I mean, I see more of kind of an organizer. I mean, I see possibly 2 people here. One sets up what needs to be taken care of and makes a list and everything and follows up. And then like does some investigation, things like that, like on the chemicals and things like that, the inventory, that kind of stuff. Just kind of keep track of what needs to be done, and then another guy that does it. So, I don't know. I just don't see a guy that's scheduling things and keeping track, and then he's out running the backhoe.
I think we have a couple guys that are capable, and I think with Steve's assistance as well as some training that we're having.
But maybe we need to scale back on
Yeah.
the amount we're putting in there.
Yeah, I agree.
based on
with
this.
Steve overseeing him and watching him and helping him, it'll work.
But then again, remember one thing, he's got a job to do too.
Yeah.
So do we look at it and say, okay, let's give it a run? Do we need to tweak it, maybe bring somebody else on? I mean, I just don't wanna get top heavy, I just wanna wanna make sure we're utilizing our men in the right way. But, I'm gonna be honest with you, he don't have time to sit and go do all this stuff. He's got a crew to run, he's got computer stuff, he's got the answer, even though he's the facility guy over everything too, but.
I think it'll be,
You'll find that he's having to do a lot of it already.
But you see, this is helpful. This guy will
this
be
is gonna
helpful.
take some off his plate more than.
Yeah, this is gonna be a right hand man to him.
This
It
guy's
actually
gonna help
should be a
him.
help. Should be a help. So-
No, and I'm fine,
lot of help.
I'm in support of this, as long as we utilize our men in the right way.
Would you like me to bring it back with some edits next month?
It's up to you guys.
I think we,
Edit it now and send it to us. We don't need to wait for a
I
month.
think we just do
Let's
it.
get it
We'll do
going.
that.
And I think my deal is, let's move on, let's post it.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so if you're okay with it, I would suggest doing a motion.
Motion, yeah, let's motion to approve it.
That way Andrew has
Okay,
clear
go ahead and make
authority,
the
no
motion.
question about is authorization to act.
So, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to open the job description for service maintenance facility position.
I'll second it.
Been motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Sorry for me taking so much time, but I'm just, okay, Leal, let's go over to the election draft.
Okay, so this document, I put together with the help of Salt Lake County Elections and also with Shelley at the Lieutenant Governor's Office. Obviously, our election is this year, and having to run it on our own, there was a lot of things to think about, so put this draft together with dates and deadlines and items that Magna Water will be needing to think about and handle on their own this time. Just some information for the trustees to let them know we're thinking on this and moving towards our election. And Shelley Jackson at the Lieutenant Governor's Office really emphasized the district, or to have the district advertise. She says the biggest thing you're gonna need to do is let everyone know that it's this year and your candidacy filing period is in June. So we're planning on putting some things on our website, and I would assume some flyers in the bill, notes on the bill, you know, whatever we can to promote the election.
Yeah.
So you just have to notify it, don't you notify it in whatever's closest paper, right? I mean,
So there's.
Yeah, there's requirements, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so Lee Isle and I have had quite a few discussions on this too, and I know Shelley, the Lieutenant Governor's Office, so that there are mandatory public notice requirements that we will need to make. But the fact is that most people don't pay attention to those mandatory notice provisions, and so what the recommendation is that we go above and beyond that, and we do other things like a mailer and postings and other things, or perhaps even things on your social media account to let the public know about the change. Because if we just do the normal public noticing, most people won't see that.
Right.
We'll comply with the law, but you won't really provide adequate fair notice given the magnitude of the change. If it were a normal thing, people are used to that schedule, but because it's a change, that's the concern.
I asked Leal to put this together because we get the fear of messing up put into us every time we hear something from the Lieutenant Governor's Office, because there's so much criteria to run your own election. So I appreciate, she put a lot of time into this, I'm sure, with discussions from Nathan and Shelley. So I wanted to thank her for making sure that we're ahead of the game when it comes to all this criteria. You'll see we have to purchase some ballot booths,
can you rent them?
Boxes,
or possibly we can rent
I
them.
can check into renting.
We will have to
Wondering
get
if
some
the county would
cameras.
have some, because
They
no.
don't. I checked with them.
What are they?
Todd?
for?
You have some, that's
Oh,
right.
nice.
Okay,
That's
thank you.
good to know.
Is this
Are
gonna,
they for rent?
are these gonna cost?
Let me know
is
how
this-
many you have.
Is this election gonna cost more than it has in the past?
Say that again.
Leal, is this
Never tells me.
election gonna cost us more than it has in the past?
I honestly can't tell you that for sure because I don't know how much it's gonna cost to have the ballots printed yet.
We had a sticker shock the last time, it seemed like.
The county's
Seems like we'll
average of
probably pay
17,000.
less, won't we, overall? We're hoping.
We have the ballot boxes already, we have 12.
Who does?
Todd does.
You're with the city,
Right.
so that's good.
Stems,
What about the drop boxes that they have to put their mail-in ballot in?
like I said, all I've got is little ammo cans.
Yeah, so we have to, in my mind, we'll have to purchase a drop box. We can use this one out here for our Magna location, but I don't
So
know,
how many areas do you have to see one?
2.
Okay, because when I ran, we had the drop box at the library.
In the junior high school,
Did we have, and where was I forgot where the other one was, I just went down to
maybe
the,
the senior citizen center, you had 3.
Did,
Junior high school, Webster, or the senior citizen center, and the library.
The lieutenant governor's office felt like one location might be okay, but she said, I'm not 100% sure on that, so refer to your attorney. Nathan indicated best practice, best,
There's some ambiguity in the
Suggest-
code.
yeah.
Because basically the problem is you guys have 3 separate jurisdictions that you serve, unincorporated county, Magna City, and West Valley.
Right.
And what the code says is that you have to have,
one in each
one
municipality.
in each municipality. And so the lieutenant governor's office said, we think you could probably get by with one, because I think that this code was written for cities rather than districts, which I think is true. And it doesn't say anything about districts, but technically the code does apply to districts, and it does say municipalities. That's what the actual language is. So my recommendation was, safest thing is just get 2 ballots, one here in Magna, find one
One
in
West Valley.
So the question I have for you there, so who's gonna man these boxes? I mean, who,
They have to
You have to have a
be
camera.
full 100% 24/7 camera access.
so
Camera.
you're gonna have to go find somewhere that's gonna let you put one of them on their property and bolt it down.
I talked to, oh yeah, the ballot box.
Yeah, I'm talking about the ballot box, and I mean, that makes me nervous, if you wanna know the truth, because I don't care what kind of a camera you have, if they want it, they're gonna get it. And then that's.
Tom at the county said that they mount their cameras. They have a post from the drop
Yeah, I've
box,
seen-
and they mount it on the pole. We would just have to, Yeah, we would just have to find somewhere to bolt the
Yeah, we could do that.
ballot
That's-
box.
That should be,
Or we could rent one of those trailers that just has the blue light flashing like at Lowe's or Home Depot, that 24/7.
And maybe you can bolt the ballot box to the trailer,
Maybe, I don't know who.
then they
you're
just
from.
pick the trailer.
They're pretty popular.
But that one there that Trevor's got up, I just pulled some off,
Yeah.
off the webs on the internet, and that one's $2,700.
So question for you, what would it cost us, and maybe they don't even do this, what would it cost us to contract out with somebody? Does anybody specialize in doing this type?
No, your only option is really the county, and they won't do it in an off-year election. That
Right.
was my recollection.
Okay.
County won't, but I'm wondering, I mean, as I was looking for supplies and stuff, I thought I saw some, like a professional service that
Well,
runs
that's what I
elections.
was kind of wondering that
Yeah.
could run it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not aware of any that do, because it's kind of a government function, but
Yeah, I thought that I saw some, but anyway,
Why don't you
that,
check into that and see what you can come up with on
Okay.
that? Because like I said, let's see what the cost is, and if someone will run it.
yeah.
I'm just concerned about the ballot box getting ripped off.
I will say, if anybody can pull it off, it's Lee Isle.
Okay, Doyle?
Yes.
Cross our fingers.
yeah, we would have it. The concern is, the code says we have to have 2 drop boxes in each municipality that Magna serves. So they could have one
What-
here for Magna City, but they need one in West Valley City.
So my question is if we could get in writing from the lieutenant governor, since they're the ultimate,
Tell
Well,
us that
actually,
first.
the
Decider.
ultimate is our legal
And,
counsel.
and what I said is I think the code's ambiguous,
okay,
and I think you could make an argument either way, but if you do 2, then no one has any argument they can make at all.
The,
but we
in
could
West Valley
choose, but
and
we
Magna.
could choose to say, because of the concerns of
Could have it
security
here.
and bolting,
We only
we
have
think
one
that
for
that
Magna.
is less, like that option is not as secure
And
as
you
just
put,
having one.
you put it behind the fence so they can, you know what I mean, reach in and drop it off.
Unless we can find a secure
Yeah.
location, you know, something like that.
Right.
Yeah, it's like at the post office or something.
You mean if we destroy it, or if someone else does?
Yeah, that would be
That'd be horrible,
bad circumstance. We want to avoid that.
because they just ripped off the ATM machine at the car wash on 7200
Anyway,
in the middle of the
it's,
day.
it is on the top of our minds, and
We'll evaluate that
We're
and get,
working.
and to talk more with Nathan and then bring back a recommendation on there.
I'm just trying to think, could you use, well, you can't use like a fire station. I mean, I don't know.
I think you could, I mean, that's the point. You could just see,
You could use the library here, fire station.
We got 2 fire stations.
I mean, really,
it may not even be, we haven't had a chance to even look into the possibility of a location. Again, just to summarize, my recommendation, Shelley with Lieutenant Governor's office, and just as we've discussed, and I don't mean this as a dig, but they're not as up to speed on special district law.
They're getting better.
They're getting a lot
But-
better, and Shelley's been fantastic, but they usually call me
yeah.
when they have a question about it. And so the code, to be honest about it, the code is really not set up for districts to do elections on off years. We got the changes to make it possible, and so we're kind of plowing new ground with this.
That then to the general election.
But
Let's move back to the general election.
the code what the code says is a local government entity, which is defined as including districts, has to have a ballot box in each municipality. Shelley looked at that and said, I think this was really intended for cities, and I agree, but that isn't what the actual language of the code says. So I agree with you, Clint, if we get something from Shelley and Shelley says, you know, you're fine, but what Shelley's
sounds
gonna
like she
say,
won't, yeah.
no, Shelley's not gonna
Shelley's
do
gonna say,
that.
talk to your
She's
legal
gonna say,
counsel.
talk to me, and I've looked at it, and I said, well, the plain language says, a local government entity, which is defined as a district, has to have it in 2 municipalities. So I think we can make the argument either way, it's just, what I don't want is for you guys to not spend $2,700 on a second ballot box, but then spend $100,000 litigating your
Right.
See, we're listening to you at the legal end. Let's go the other side.
Well, you
But-
could always ask a question, could we just move it to the general election and then we don't have to spend any extra money on it?
Well, you
We
can.
are on the general election now.
What would happen in that circumstance, I actually asked that specific question.
If you can keep bouncing back.
The problem, the thing is that you would have, those 2 seats would go vacant, and then the existing board member would have to appoint those 2 seats for the remainder of the term.
And I'm not sure
Or-
that works, because you don't have a quorum.
Exactly, so that is the one issue, so, or into the time that you wanted, so that's the challenge there.
Okay, so,
Wow.
well, let's get it figured out. We make it work.
We can do it.
We can do it, we'll get it.
It'll get done.
But wanted to let you know, there's quite a bit to it, so.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, yeah, there is quite a bit. I just got.
Okay.
Next board meeting is gonna be February 12th at 10 o'clock. We don't have to motion on that, right, Nathan?
Right.
No,
No,
this
okay.
is just discussion.
Okay, training and safety, Andrew, so we're talking about spring conference.
Yeah. I'll run through, if there's any discussion, I can answer any questions you might have. So the first conference coming up is Rural Water. Right now, we're proposing that Clint Dilly, Andrew Assumption, and Ed Tucker attend. That's at the end of February in St. George. at the
And any
cost-
board members.
and any board members that want to attend, at the cost of $1,632 is the estimate. I will point out, Ed Tucker, the reason why we're suggesting Ed attends with Clint and myself is, Clint's challenged Steve to let go of some of the stuff that he's been handling for the district for so long, and one of those things is the backflow. And so Ed will be attending backflow certification down there. The next one after that, sorry, my thing just flipped off of there.
Trevor's got it up if you need.
Oh, there it is. Water users on March 16th through the 18th, that's a shorter one. We're proposing that Steve Clark and Trevor Andre attend that. That is estimated at $1,180 per person, as well as if the board members would like to attend that one. The next one is the Utah GFOA conference for accounting. We're proposing that Leisle attends that at a cost of $1,401 per attendee.
So could you let could you let Mandy go to this too?
Yes, we
Yeah,
could.
if-
Just can't,
We
It's
can't be
hard.
both gone at the same time.
And I think Mandy attended a year ago or 2 years ago.
Okay.
And she's
No one went
attended
last
recently.
year. Yeah.
Okay.
The next one, AWWA mid-year, April 8th in Sandy. We're proposing that JJ and Chris Thompson attend that at $212 estimated per attendee. And then the next one is the WEAU, the wastewater conference. We're proposing Dallas Henline, Clint Dilly, and Trevor Andre attend.
So we're not gonna have any employees go then?
Not to this one.
Okay.
I think some of that is as we go through the process of getting ready for this, we go through everybody's CEUs.
Okay.
And I think the amount of training that they did this last year is a testament to
cutting down on.
the need to go into conferences because they've gotten so many CEUs doing things like OSHA 10, OSHA 30, traffic control, and things like that. So, these are our recommendations if the board
Okay.
sees fit.
Thank you. So we have a closed.
If needed, I know you had some time constraints, if,
No, I'm good. That got all moved.
Do we need to
Can we get
approve
a-
those?
Do we have to approve these?
Do we have to make a motion on these?
I'm sorry, a motion on what?
Motion on these trips?
we have historically.
Yeah, I think that's good, just in case there's there's a question down the road, that way the staff knows that they have.
Can't
your
you approve it
authorization.
as they go, like when it gets time to go? Then because it could change.
You could do that. I think the challenge is that in order for them to get the best hotel rates and to plan ahead.
Yeah.
it's-
Okay.
Ahead
Take
of
over.
Early bird prices and things like
Yeah.
that. These
It-
prices are based off of early bird pricing.
Everything gets more expensive the closer you get to the meeting. So I would suggest that you approve it now.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll just approve attending those, we just won't have to name who's.
Right.
No, I would approve the attendance of these trainings as presented by Andrew.
Okay, there you go.
As,
The motion I would suggest is, I move to authorize staff to attend the conferences listed in the agenda with the staff mentioned and as presented by Andrew.
All in favor?
Well, who's making the motion? I can't make the
Oh.
motion.
Just say so
You can say
moved.
so moved.
I just had to get you to laugh at
as Chairman, I so move that we approve the following training and for the conferences. Rural Water, February 23rd to 27th, Dixie Center, St. George. Water Users, March 16th to the 18th, Dixie Center, St. George. The UGFOA, March 3rd to April 2nd, Dixie College, St. George. AWWA, April 8th, Sandy. WEAU, April 14th to April 17th, Dixie College, St. George.
I'll second that.
As attended by employees that, as Andrew has outlined.
Okay, I'll second that.
you. Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So if someone wants to make a motion to close the open and go into closed.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to take a brief recess and immediately following meet and close meeting to discuss the purchase, exchange, lease, or sale of real property, including any form of water right or water shares pending reasonable imminent litigation and collective bargaining issues pursuant to Utah Code 524204 through 205.
I'll second
In
that.
motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
At 11:48.
11:48.
Me,
At
Second it.
12:48.
I'll second it.
aye,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I make a motion to adjourn.
Well, hold on.
Wait
Do
a
we have
minute.
do we have any other business before
we
the
have-
board?
Anything we talked about at first over there?
That's it.
Oh, no.
We're good. Okay, go ahead.
I make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.